Ever wondered how the Amish survive without freezers, refrigerators, or even modern-day appliances? Picture this: a world where food can last decades, preserved with techniques so old school, they're practically magic. We're talking about real food storage. No gadgets, no electricity, just pure tradition. Want to know how they do it? Stick around, because this is not your typical food preservation story. By the end of this video, you'll be blown away by how the Amish keep their food fresh for more than 20 years. Think it's impossible? Wait till you see the techniques they use. Trust me, it's more than just canning. Let's kick things off with a major reality check. We live in a world obsessed with convenience. We've got refrigerators, freezers, and high-tech gadgets to keep our food fresh. But the Amish? They're living proof that food preservation doesn't need all that. For centuries, they've relied on methods passed down through generations, methods that don't depend on electricity or fancy modern tools. Now, this isn't just about keeping food from spoiling. It's about respecting the food and the land. Amish food storage techniques are steeped in history, and they're designed to preserve the natural flavors of food. Some methods even make food taste better over time. So if you think that long-term storage is all about bland, freezer-burned leftovers, think again. The Amish have perfected the art of keeping their food fresh and delicious. Water bath canning, a timeless classic. Let's dive into one of the most iconic Amish food preservation methods, water bath canning. At its core, this technique involves submerging jars of food in boiling water to create a vacuum seal. This seal locks in nutrients, flavors, and freshness, keeping the food perfectly preserved for years. Here's the fascinating part. It works on a wide variety of foods: fruits, vegetables, sauces, jams, and even meats. When the jars are heated to high temperatures, the process kills off any bacteria or mold that could spoil the food, creating a sealed environment where air and contaminants can't enter. That means everything inside stays safe and fresh. But there's more to it than just safety. Canning is about preserving the essence of the food. The heat locks in all the nutrients, and the sealed jars allow flavors to mature over time. The longer the food sits in its sealed environment, the more intense the flavors become. So imagine opening a jar of canned tomatoes from last summer. Those tomatoes might actually taste better than the fresh ones from the store. What's even more amazing is that the Amish don't just use this method for practicality. They embrace it for its ability to enhance the taste of the food. In fact, it's common for them to find that their canned produce is richer in flavor than anything that comes off the shelf. What's the secret? The slow, careful process of canning actually allows the food's natural sugars and acids to concentrate, making the flavors pop in a way that modern food preservation methods can't match. So water bath canning is more than just a preservation method. It's a way to elevate the flavor and quality of your food while keeping it safe from spoilage for years to come. It's like turning simple ingredients into gourmet meals without needing a fancy kitchen gadget or freezer. Additionally, this method fosters a deep connection between food and seasonality. When Amish families harvest their crops, they preserve the best of the season, allowing them to enjoy the bounty of their land year-round. Whether it's the sweetness of summer peaches, the tang of freshly made applesauce, or the savory depth of homemade pickles, water bath canning turns seasonal produce into cherished staples. And because the process is both hands-on and heartfelt, it encourages mindful eating, bringing attention to what's being preserved and how it nurtures the body. Through water bath canning, the Amish carry on traditions that are both practical and flavorful, proving that the old ways are often the best. The egg hack: storing with ashes. Here's a preservation trick that sounds almost too wild to believe. But stick with me. The Amish store their eggs using ashes, and it's a game changer. No refrigerators involved. Here's how it works. Eggs can stay fresh for months, sometimes even a year, without needing to be chilled, as long as they're stored properly. The Amish pack their eggs in wood ashes or a mixture of lime and water, which creates a protective barrier around the eggs. This seal prevents air from reaching the eggs, slowing down the spoiling process and keeping them fresher longer. It's like putting them in a state of suspended animation, where they remain as fresh as the day they were laid. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Won't these eggs taste funky after being stored like this? Surprisingly, no. It's actually incredible how the ashes work to preserve them. Even after months of storage, when you crack open one of these eggs, it'll be just as fresh as if you bought it yesterday. No weird taste, no funky smell. Since eggs naturally have a protective coating on their shells, they're even more resilient to this method than you might think. The ashes don't just preserve, they also prevent bacteria from entering, so the eggs stay safe for a long time. The simple and natural preservation trick helps maintain the egg's integrity. And here's another surprise. This preservation method doesn't just stop at eggs. The Amish have extended the same concept to other delicate foods, from fruits to vegetables. The idea is simple. Nature's elements, whether it's ashes or lime, create a protective seal that blocks out oxygen and bacteria. So, the next time you look at an egg, just think about how generations of Amish ingenuity have figured out a way to preserve freshness without refrigeration. This method isn't just a quirky old trick. It's practical and incredibly effective. The Amish have been using this for generations, and it's proof that some of the best preservation methods are hidden in plain sight, without refrigeration or high-tech gadgets. Fat sealing for meats, the secret to long-term preservation. You might think meat can't last long without refrigeration, but let me introduce you to a mind-blowing Amish method that proves otherwise. Fat sealing? Yes, you heard that right. Lard or fat is used to seal meats for long-term storage, and this technique has been in use for centuries. Here's how it works. After butchering the meat, the Amish coat it in a thick layer of melted fat, creating a protective seal that keeps air and bacteria out. This process prevents the meat from spoiling and helps preserve both its flavor and texture. Believe it or not, this simple method can keep meats fresh for months or even years. You're probably wondering, why fat? It's all about the science behind it. Fat is a natural preservative because it blocks oxygen, which is the main culprit behind meat going rancid. By sealing the meat with fat, the Amish ensure that it stays safe, tender, and flavorful for a long time without refrigeration. And it's not just limited to pork or beef. This method works wonders on chicken, venison, and other game meats too. It's an incredibly versatile and effective way to preserve meat without modern appliances. And it's one of the Amish's cleverest survival hacks. But it gets even better. The fat doesn't just act as a barrier to spoilage, it also keeps the meat from drying out, ensuring it stays moist and tender when you're ready to cook it. Imagine having a roast that's been sealed in fat for months, and when you unwrap it, it's as juicy and flavorful as the day it was butchered. This technique also serves as a perfect example of how the Amish embrace sustainability. Rather than wasting any part of the animal, they use every resource available to them, fat in this case, to make sure they aren't reliant on modern refrigeration. Instead of worrying about power outages or freezer burn, they rely on the tried and true power of fat to keep their meat fresh. This preservation method is not only brilliant, but completely sustainable and environmentally friendly. So the next time you hear someone say that meat can't last without a freezer, remember the Amish fat sealing method. It's proof that traditional techniques can beat modern conveniences when it comes to food preservation. And honestly, there's something incredibly satisfying about knowing that centuries-old methods still work wonders today. The Amish have mastered this method and continue to enjoy fresh, flavorful meats without the need for modern technology. Truly a lesson in the power of tradition. Fermentation, the health boost you didn't know you needed. Fermentation is a preservation method that the Amish swear by, but it's probably not what you're thinking. Sure, sauerkraut and pickles come to mind, but fermentation is way more than that. It's an ancient technique that does two things incredibly well. It preserves food and boosts its health benefits. The Amish use fermentation to preserve all kinds of foods, from vegetables and dairy to drinks like kombucha. The magic behind fermentation lies in the microbes, specifically the beneficial bacteria, also known as probiotics, that thrive during the process. These probiotics are essential for your gut health, helping with digestion and strengthening your immune system. It's like giving your body a natural health boost with every bite. And get this, you don't need expensive equipment to ferment food the Amish way. They use simple, everyday items like ceramic jars or crocks, creating the perfect environment for those probiotics to flourish. It's low-tech, but the results are amazing. What's even more fascinating is that the Amish use fermentation for other eatables as well. Dairy products like yogurt and cheese are fermented to enhance their flavor and make them easier to digest. They even ferment meats and fish, creating traditional delicacies like sausages and fish roe that pack a punch of flavor and nutrition. The best part? Fermented foods develop incredible flavors that can't be matched by store-bought alternatives. The tanginess and complexity of fermented vegetables, cheeses, and even drinks like kefir and kombucha are something you can't replicate with modern refrigeration methods. Plus, you're not just eating food. You're nourishing your body with live bacteria that improve digestion and overall wellness. Fermented foods also have the added benefit of being incredibly shelf-stable, because the fermentation process creates an acidic environment that inhibits the growth of harmful microorganisms. Many fermented foods can be stored for extended periods without refrigeration. This makes them an invaluable method for food preservation, especially in the Amish community where refrigeration is limited. Moreover, fermentation enhances the bioavailability of nutrients. Certain vitamins and minerals found in fermented foods, like B vitamins, become more accessible to the body. This means not only are you getting more nutrients from your food, but you're also benefiting from increased energy and improved metabolism. So the next time you pass by a jar of sauerkraut, remember, fermentation isn't just about preserving food. It's a delicious and powerful health hack that the Amish have been using for generations. It's a simple, wholesome way to nourish your body. And it might just be the health boost you didn't know you needed. Drying and salting, the old-fashioned way to preserve. Drying and salting are two of the oldest and most reliable methods for preserving food, and the Amish are well-versed in both techniques. While you may have seen dried fruits or jerky in stores, the Amish take it up a notch. They'll dry everything from apples and peaches to various meats, especially in the peak of summer, when the sun provides ample heat. Here's why drying works. By removing moisture from the food, the Amish create an environment where bacteria can't grow. No moisture means no rot. Dehydration locks in the natural flavors while extending the shelf life of the food. The Amish don't just dry fruits, they dry vegetables, herbs, and meats too, preserving them in their purest form. You can store dried foods for months or even years without worrying about spoilage. But drying isn't just about keeping food edible. It's about keeping it flavorful and vibrant. By using the natural heat of the sun or a slow oven, the Amish preserve the original flavors of the food, capturing the essence of the harvest in each bite. Whether it's a sun-dried tomato or a handful of dried herbs, the taste is as intense as nature intended. Now salting is a whole different game. The Amish use coarse salt to preserve meats by drawing out excess moisture. Salt acts as a preservative by preventing the growth of bacteria and mold. But here's the catch. It's not just about the preservation. Salt enhances the flavor. The Amish don't just sprinkle salt. They apply it generously, creating a rich, savory taste. Ever had salted pork or ham? The flavor is intense, and that's because the salt has deeply penetrated the meat, making it incredibly flavorful in a way modern refrigeration can't replicate. This process isn't just practical, it's a way of life. By using salt and drying, The Amish transform simple ingredients into extraordinary foods that are rich in taste and long-lasting. Together, drying and salting form a dynamic duo for long-term preservation. The Amish know that food can be stored in its most natural state for extended periods while maintaining both flavor and nutrition. It's not just about survival. It's about savoring food the old-fashioned way. But here's the twist that you might not have thought about. These preservation methods don't just keep food edible, they also improve it. The salt doesn't just lock in flavor, it adds a layer of complexity and richness to the taste that refrigeration can't compete with. As for dried food, the slow drying process concentrates all those natural sugars and flavors, making every bite a burst of sunshine from the harvest. When you bite into a piece of salted, dried meat or fruit, you're not just eating to survive, you're indulging in a truly rich, authentic food experience. This is why the Amish take so much pride in these methods. They don't just preserve food, they transform it into something extraordinary. Root cellars, the Amish's natural refrigeration system. Imagine having a fridge that doesn't need any electricity, yet keeps your food fresh for months. That's exactly what a root cellar does, and it's one of the Amish's best-kept secrets. These cool, damp, underground spaces are perfect for storing root vegetables like potatoes, carrots, and onions, as well as a range of other foods. The temperature and humidity are naturally regulated, providing the ideal environment to prevent spoilage without the need for modern refrigeration. The magic of a root cellar is in the earth itself. The ground maintains a constant cool temperature that keeps your produce crisp and fresh. It's like having a built-in fridge powered by nature, using the earth's natural energy rather than electricity. These cellars are designed to allow airflow, preventing rot while ensuring that everything stays at just the right level of coolness and moisture. What's truly fascinating is how efficient and versatile these root cellars can be. Not only do they protect the veggies from spoiling, but they also maintain a level of humidity that keeps the vegetables from drying out. The Amish even use their root cellars to store canned goods, meats, and fruits. It's a low-maintenance storage method that works with nature, not against it. But root cellars aren't just for vegetables. The Amish store a surprising variety of foods in them. Apples, squash, and even cheese can be kept in a root cellar. The cool, controlled environment slows down the ripening and decay process, extending the shelf life of these foods for months. It's a low-tech wonder that works with nature, not against it. A root cellar is also incredibly energy efficient. In a world that's constantly searching for sustainable alternatives to modern technology, the root cellar offers a timeless and eco-friendly solution. And while a modern fridge may cost you money on your electric bill every month, the root cellar requires no maintenance beyond a little organization. It's a timeless method that taps into the wisdom of the past, making it a true testament to the Amish way of life. Moreover, the ingenuity of root cellars lies in their ability to store such a diverse array of foods. The ground's insulating properties keep both the temperature and humidity consistent, ensuring that fresh produce stays crisp and hearty. This natural preservation method protects food from both heat and excessive moisture. The cool, damp conditions also help preserve the natural flavors of food. In short, a root cellar isn't just a practical solution for food preservation. It's a glimpse into how the Amish make the most of nature's gifts. Herbs, natural preservatives and flavors. The Amish have long harnessed the power of herbs, not just for enhancing flavors, but also as natural tools for preserving food. Herbs like rosemary, thyme, oregano, and garlic might seem like everyday seasonings, but they hold remarkable properties that make them vital for long-term food storage. These plants are rich in antimicrobial and antifungal compounds, which actively inhibit bacterial growth and spoilage, extending the shelf life of food without the need for modern refrigeration. The Amish employ these herbs in an astonishing variety of creative ways. One common method is adding them to jars of canned goods, such as tomatoes, pickles, or beans. Not only do the herbs keep the contents safe and fresh, but they also infuse the food with deep layered flavors. For example, a sprig of rosemary in a jar of canned tomatoes doesn't just protect against spoilage, it elevates the flavor to something rich and aromatic, making even the simplest dishes extraordinary. Herbs are also used to make infused oils and vinegar, both of which act as natural preservatives. These infusions create versatile ingredients that enhance salads, marinades, or cooking processes while providing added protection against foodborne bacteria. The Amish have mastered this combination of flavor and preservation, ensuring that nothing goes to waste while maintaining the highest quality and taste. What's truly remarkable is how the essential oils and herbs enhance both preservation and taste simultaneously. Garlic, for instance, imparts a robust, earthy flavor to preserved vegetables while working as a natural antibacterial agent. Oregano, known for its powerful antiseptic properties, does more than just keep food fresh. It deepens the food's overall flavor, creating a more satisfying culinary experience. But the Amish appreciation for herbs doesn't end with food preservation. These plants are deeply interwoven with their traditions, often used for medicinal purposes. Thyme, for example, is a trusted remedy for respiratory ailments and infections, while oregano is celebrated for its ability to combat colds and other minor illnesses. By relying on these dual-purpose plants, the Amish demonstrate a holistic approach to food storage, where nutrition, health, and flavor come together in perfect harmony. Another advantage of using herbs is the ability to customize and personalize the preservation process. A jar of canned carrots might be enhanced with a sprinkle of dill for a bright, fresh taste, or parsley for a subtle herbal note. This practice reflects the Amish philosophy of resourcefulness and simplicity, proving that preservation can be as creative and individualized as it is practical. By incorporating herbs into their preservation methods, the Amish have embraced a timeless, nature-inspired system that requires no electricity or chemicals. It's a process that not only protects their food, but also transforms it into something more flavorful and healthful. This harmonious balance of function and flavor is a testament to the enduring wisdom of traditional food preservation techniques and a reminder that the solutions to modern challenges can often be found in the natural world. Why it all works. The Amish mindset. So why does all of this work? What's the magic behind these old-school methods? The answer lies in the Amish mindset, a lifestyle rooted in simplicity, sustainability, and a deep respect for nature. They don't rely on the latest gadgets or technology to preserve their food. Instead, they use what the earth provides. They work with nature. The result is food that is healthier, more flavorful, and longer lasting than what you can buy in a store. The Amish aren't just about simple living. They're masters